standing in the corner of my craft room at the moment, and I thought I'd give you a look as to how it is showing at the moment. I've had these bookcases for quite a few years and have used them to stash all of my decor, ribbons, fabric, envelopes, you name it. It's all stuffed onto these shelves. And guys, I'm kind of tired of it, and you know, I am a vintage loving person, so I decided after watching some really cool videos that were craft tours for, you know, just for fun, I really need to work on this room and make it more comfortable for myself as I'm working on projects. And so here's my closet where I've got lots of things stored. I have these blinds and I keep them closed most of the time for this window because my house faces south here on the back side of the house, and the glare is so bad it can give you a headache, I think. So in any case, I went ahead and had those blinds put in, and you know, it's saved me from headaches and kept the room more comfortable. So over here I have a lot of my ribbons and papers. I have a nice file cabinet there, and this is a station where I do a lot of my work. So I'm really intent on getting things cleaned up and looking nicer, and more vintage is really what I'm going to be going for. I have a lot of plastic in my craft room, and I want to get rid of all that plastic and start using wood and other types of containers to keep my craft room nice and cheerful. I have this wicker chair that I found in Germany when I was junking. I've talked about doing that in another video. And I had a girlfriend, Martha, that she and I would go out junking and looking for things to pick up on the curb for free. And that's where that wicker chair comes. It's actually quite a nice one, but it's my intention to find a nice stuffed, upholstered chair that I can put right there to sit in when I feel like resting. And so this chair is probably going to wind up out on my porch this summer. And then I'm going to redo quite a lot of it, and I'll bring you back and see what we've changed. Hello to all my YouTube friends, and this is Mary back again from Rocky Mountain Gardens. I'm showing you the family photos that I have here on the wall in my upstairs hallway, because we're going to be walking down to my craft room, which is right here with the door closed. And I'm going to open that door and take you in to see my newly organized and some new decorations too. So let's take a step inside. I'll give you an overall view of my room. It's quite crowded. I'm happy that I have it though. And look at this gigantic chair that I bought for my craft room. Isn't that crazy? It's so big, but I just fell in love with this wood trim on it, and it's very comfortable, let me tell you. So when I'm crafting and I get a little tired and want a break, I can plop myself right there and rest and have maybe do some reading and just be very, very comfortable. Really makes me happy. I'm going to take you around to where my window is. I bought some William Morris design curtains for my window to add some additional color to the space. And let's see, where should we begin? Maybe since I'm right here, let's start with all of these paper packs that I have stored in these little, cubes that you can get at Michael's. I'm not sure actually if they still sell them because I bought them quite some time ago. And then I have some bins here that have all of my holiday ribbons in them. You know, Christmas, fall, Easter, spring, summer. And then I have this box here that I found. And inside are quite a few family photos. There I am right there. But in any case, those are photos that I want to keep, and I like to keep them in a pretty box. Now here, I got this box. It's, I think, fiberboard or MDF or something, but it's a great box for storing all of my stickers. And I just have them in here organized by season. For example, here I have all of the letter stickers that I have collected over the years. Now, down in this bottom area here, in these drawers, I have quite a few of my flowers that I have collected on sale, of course. So I try to put all of my colors together in the same little sections so that I can easily dig through and find what I'm looking for when I'm working on a project. In this drawer, I have a different selection, some cardboard letters, different colors, all of my little tiny clothespins for crafting. These are some additional florals that come on stems. Oopsie. These are great to use in a junk journal. Now in this drawer, I have wooden pieces and cardboard pieces also to be used in future projects. I have been collecting them. And then here, this is my paper for my printer, and these are index cards, 4x6. All right. While we're over in this corner, how about if we take a look at my closet here? Up on the shelves in my closet, I've stored different items, plastic bags. Over here, you'll see all the Christmas cards that I've received over the years. And then for a while, guys, I was really involved in watching QVC and HSN, Home Shopping Network, you know. And you see all those bows in this plastic container? These were sold by Anna Griffin. And you might, if you're familiar with Anna Griffin, you might recognize the containers that, that she uses to put her things in. Let me bring this over here for a minute. These are a set of butterflies that are die cut in die cut frames. They're really nice, and I have enjoyed using them on my card making projects and even some of my projects making junk journals. So I have several sets of different types of ephemera from Anna Griffin all here. And then down below here, I have this 4-drawer file cabinet, which has come quite handy for me storing my different cardstock papers. So to give you an idea of how I do it, I actually was a Stampin' Up! I don't know what you'd call it, representative for a while. And while I was doing that and being able to take advantage of, you know, discounts and things like that, I started collecting the different colors of cardstock that they were selling at the time. For example, this is called Pool Party. Island Indigo is a darker blue. But anyway, I have quite a few of my colors here in this drawer in these hanging file folders. And guys, I have to tell you, this is the best way I have found to organize cardstock because it's very ready at hand for you to grab a sheet easily without digging through containers. And so for me, that has been a perfect solution. And then in this drawer, I have a place where I store some of the cards that I have made in the past, you know, for different times. Halloween cards, Easter, baby cards, wedding, Valentine's. Having a way to store your cards is a nice way to organize things, especially when you need a card at a moment's notice for some event or occasion. It's a really nice way to be able to get your cards ready to use. And then the hanging folders in this drawer include some of my more unusual papers, like papers to use with Copic markers, stamps, images that I have stamped that I need to color with my Copics, graph paper, journaling paper, vellum. The bottom drawer here just has some of my important paperwork about my home and, you know, things like that. So I keep my things down there that I might use. Now looking over in this work area here, you may have seen me refinish that black shelf to add to this wall here in my craft room because I just needed more storage room. And I was trying to figure out, now how in the world can I do that? And I really wanted it to have more of a vintage look to it. So I found this beautiful gold mirror that I have put on this white shelf down below. And right here are several of the projects that I've made or am going to make in the future, things I'm collecting for that. This is, I did a video on this, I think it was a flip through. This is my gardening junk journal here. And that was really fun to make. Up on top, I just have some of these vintage jars. Over here in this cup are my feathers that I've collected just while out walking or hiking. Down below on the table, I've been trying to put together a collection of containers that are vintage or kind of fit in this mode. So I tried to get rid of a lot of my plastic containers, and I've been just working hard in the thrifting department, you know, to find more containers to use for all of my projects, all the special needs I have. Like I found this book, it's a faux book, and I put all of my colored pencils in there. That was one collection. Over here I found this container, and in it I have been able to fit all of my 6x6 pads that I've collected over the years as well. You know, we all have trouble using up those 6x6 pads. Okay, in this tin, I'm getting ready to host a stamp camp here at my house very soon, and I want to make a lot of cards for Christmas and other occasions. So I have just been working on die cutting lots of different things. Like, look at this awesome deer scene. So I die cut it, and then when I'm watching TV, I color these. And I have quite a collection here to use at the stamp camp that I'm hosting here at my house, and I'll be able to use them. I'm very excited for that. And then also back here, I have this awesome box that I found thrifting, and I keep all of my punching. This is a corner piece that does different designs on the corner of a, and I forget what this gadget is called. Do you guys remember? It has a name. I'll put it up here on the screen if you're not familiar with it. But so I have a couple of containers here that I got thrifting also for holding pens and scissors and other tools. Look at this awesome, it's like a clay pot almost that's been decorated. Isn't that awesome? It's like a fairy scene. I love that. Now in this gray container, I have a lot of extra, let's see if I can get it open, large size stamps that don't fit in with any of my other collections. So I put them all in here so I would know where they were. And they sit right here in the back. Now on the edge here, I have a container that holds a lot of my laces, different colors and different styles. And I can go in there and dig for a lace that I might need for my, especially for my latest junk journal that I've been working on. This container here holds borders. I have quite a few borders in this collection. They're fun to use on cards or other projects. You know how it is, we collect all these different pieces of things to use in projects, and we just have to use our imagination and just think, how can I use that item in the future project that I might be doing? Now this stack right here, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I'm going to do a video about it. I'm making a sort of a junk journal design to preserve some of the old photographs I have from members of my family. And I'm putting them all together and decorating, and I hope in a way that will look really awesome. Okay. Up on the top here, I have a container, a tin with feathers in it. Here is a picture of my mother's side of the family when we all got together for a special birthday. Whew. Okay, now to the bookcases. I have, in these containers, I have lots of beads. And in these two containers, I have ephemera that I have made myself, flowers and butterflies and other things like that that can be used in, some of my creations. Here we have different kinds of tape. Here we have designer paper clips. In here we have lots of brads. Look at those shiny, perfect, pretty ones right here. Aren't they? I can't wait. I'm going to be using that on the project I'm working on right now because they're so pretty. Over here I have backups of tape and glue that I can use. This blue container here has my glue sticks and my hot glue gun and an extension cord, because a hot glue gun does not have a very long cord. Now in this container right here, I have miscellaneous different kinds of cords, baker's twine, just a whole variety of those are found in that container. I really like this. It's a nice way to store things. On this shelf, I have all of my envelopes that I can use for card making. It's hard to see down below here, but you know, I do a lot of floral arrangements if you follow me on Facebook. And so I have a lot of supplies for when I'm making different bouquets and floral arrangements. Moving up to the top here of the second bookcase are all of my Stampin' Up! Stamp sets, and I have a few made by some other companies. Like this is Heartfelt Creations. This is, you can see the deer there. That's where I got the deer that I die cut and then colored. Lots of different stamps that are organized. I actually organized them by you know, what's in the stamp set. Like this one says animals. This one up here says sentiments, and so on. And then in this nice vintage box, I have all of the different fabric scraps that I've used or collected over time. Very nice way to get them all in one place. Now guys, I'm gonna move my chair back a little bit here so we can get in here and see these bottom shelves. Look at how I've stored my ribbons. I saw this, I wish I could remember the name of the woman who devised this method. She did an awesome job. So here on this shelf, you can see in the back are whites and pinks. And then here I have these beautiful faux jewel sets. I have a whole basket full of them of different colors and different designs that I also use. Here's a big spool of pearls. Maybe I'll use this on my Christmas tree next year. Okay, and then I ordered from Amazon these crinkled bows, and I have been using them in my latest project. Lots of different colors to choose from, and they work perfectly. They make me so happy. Aren't they awesome? They weren't cheap, I have to say. Now in this container, I have lots of little pieces of florals that could be used also in a junk journal. Now I wanted to get close to this shelf so I could show you how this was done. This woman that I saw on YouTube used these curtain rods that are spring tensioned. And you can see she put one here in the front, and then I'll grab some of these. Here you can see there's one behind it, and it makes a little divot sort of that the rolls of tape set on. And you know guys, I see people putting their rolls of ribbons on a dowel and hanging them up, and it looks really nice in their craft room, and I have to say it must work for them, otherwise they wouldn't use those dowels. But to me, that's an awful lot of trouble. You have to take the dowel down, get the ribbon off, you know, and take it to your work area to be able to use it, cut it the size you need it to be, and so on. Anyway, on the same shelf here in the back, you can see this spring tension rod, and it's only one, and it's pushed up close to the back of the bookcase. So your ribbon spools set on here and lean against the back part of your bookcase. And isn't that clever? I just thought that was the most awesome idea because I have struggled with storing ribbons for quite a while. Well, I tried to put my ribbons, group them according to color, the best that I could. You know, you see in the background greens and purples, more browns and reds, and so on. Now on this bottom shelf, I have a lot of these little, oh, look at the dust on that. Oh my goodness. And here I thought I had cleaned up well enough to do this tour. Oh my goodness. I have these labeled. This is butterflies, Anna Griffin. And each one I have ephemera that goes with that idea. These are miscellaneous because they're not marked. But then over here we have travel, contemporary designs, 3D elements, vintage designs, and down here steampunk. I used to be really interested in steampunk at one point. And then here's two more stacked. An old box here that I got. I had bought some stickers when I was working on my reading journal, and I wanted some interesting stickers to use. So I bought some of these, and I'm keeping them here in this square box. Now I know I said I was trying to get rid of so much plastic in my craft room and make it look more vintage, but I have to admit I kept these, and as you can see I have them labeled doilies. There they are. Shaker cards. I have lots of sequins and other tools for making shaker cards. This one says stamps and dies storage. I do use these magnetic sheets for my dies when I'm storing them. I'll show you how that works a little bit later on here in the tour. And then we have miscellaneous tools for mixed media. And then underneath my work table right here, I have another set of these white plastic drawers. And so in these top drawers, I have lots of jewels and pearls. Same here. Here's my button collection. I liked separating my buttons into color groups to make it easier to find them. I know lots of people store theirs in glass jars, but I get frustrated when I have to dig through, you know, like a jar to find a certain color button or a certain style of button. And I get really frustrated if I don't have things right at my fingertips. That is how I am able to successfully continue on a project and not, you know, start and stop while I'm hunting through lots and lots of places for things that I need for my project. Here's where I keep all of my metal pieces. This has some miscellaneous jewelry, pins, the magnets that I use in different projects. Down here is where I keep my watercolor set, and I also have stencils in this drawer that I have used on various projects, and I like to hold on to them when I'm finished. A long time ago, I decided to buy a big shot from Stampin' Up! And just start collecting dies that I thought I would use frequently, and I did that instead of investing in a Cricut. And I have good friends that love their Cricuts, and they use them in so many different ways, very creatively. But it just wasn't for me. I actually bought a Cricut early on when they first came out, and it was so hard to use back in the olden days, as we might say. It was really frustrating. This is my printer. It's an HP printer. And down here I have drawers, mostly with, bills and paperwork for my home. And, it just looks like this. I really like these hanging folders. They're very convenient to use. And then over here in my desk organizer, I keep all of my double-sided tapes. I like to use, well, I can't get this to go in for focus, but the brand of double-sided tape that I use is called Score Tape. You can buy it on Amazon, and it's probably the best double-sided tape on the market. I start using this art glitter glue. I'm sorry it's not in focus, but I find this is very long lasting, and your projects don't start falling apart after a year or so. That was really frustrating for me. Up here I have paper clips in this container, and these, I forget what these are called, but I have those collected in a milk glass container. And this is my daughter, one of her high school graduation pictures. Okay, over here I have these little 1-inch stamp sets. I keep all of them in there, some extra stamps. There's my Create sign over here. This is my daughter when she was a baby, just sitting up. And these are my 2 grandsons, Lucas and Killian. Aren't they cute guys? I'm thrilled to have grandsons. On my desk here, I do keep out some of the things I use frequently, like my bone folder over here. I have been watching some women who do a lot of junk journaling. And what they do is they collect ephemera, and like this one is sort of in a file that I can flip through. All these pieces pretty much fit in this tin. And I can just reach for them and grab something to add to my projects. Over here are pencils, scissors. Here's a collection of glues that I use over time. Here are my sponges that I use for distressing and doing the edges of cards and so on. Now I have these finger distressors, and as you can see, they're all pristine. They've never been used, but I'm sure I will use them one day. And then over here, I have my collection of Copics, and they're organized by color also. And on this side are Stampin' Up! Markers that I have collected over time as well. If you do a little bit at a time and don't try to, supply your craft room all in one day or even 1 month, but over years, it's very nice because you can really collect some wonderful things. Here's my computer. I have a Mac. I totally use Apple products for everything. Here I am in Mexico. I'm on the far right. We went swimming with dolphins. It was so much fun. You can see in the background I have a bulletin board where I can hang memories, important memories that I don't want to forget. wires everywhere. I'm originally from the St. Louis area, so my brother brought me, and I always liked the Cardinals when I was growing up, so my brother brought this for me when he was visiting one time. Now the last area that we're going to scope out here is this bookcase. This basket just has some different kinds of yarn, different colors. Up here in this white basket, I have all of my embossing folders. And in this white, well, I have two white baskets right here. This one has all of the dies. This one has stamp sets that didn't come in boxes. So I did these, I don't know, I guess acrylic. What would these be called? These little, they're little sleeves, and labored all of them. I took them out of their original packaging and labored each one so that I could find it. Now, interestingly, we all have individual sheets of designer paper for decorating, and they're hard to organize. And you saw how I organized my cardstock. So what I did is I got this nice crate, and I got the hanging folders that fit that crate. I think they're legal size. And then I organized all of my single sheets of designer papers by color in here. And so it's really easy to go through. If I need a sheet of blue paper, I can come in here and look through the blues, find something that I like. And then over here, I have these. These are called Princeton files. I'm a librarian, you may know that. And in libraries, these Princeton files we use to put magazines in. Well, I was able to find some 12 by 12 size, so that if I bought some 12 by 12 cardstock that wouldn't fit in my filing cabinet, I put all of the cardstock in these. So I have just the regular colors in one, and in the other one I have some specialty papers, you know, that like this one is corrugated, this one has sparkles on it. Anything that was an unusual type of cardstock got placed in the second Princeton file right here. Over here, I have magazines that I use sometimes. Here's some book pages that I'm saving. Oh, I did want to share this with you. Let me get it out carefully. So I'll pull out all those book pages. All right, guys. So I made this myself. I used some thick cardboard, made all of these pages at home, and this black piece is a magnetic piece. And you know what these are that can save you a lot of money? These black sheets are used as vent covers. People buy them to put over their metallic vents if they want to block heat or air conditioning from coming out that vent in that one particular room. And you can buy them like at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I cut them. They're very easy to cut with scissors. I forget where I got that idea, but I'm sure I saw it on YouTube. So here's another set. Isn't that pretty? And another set. This one's quite pretty. The last thing that we'll take a look at is how I stored all of my punches. I have quite a few that I've found, and usually on sale. And what I used were IKEA like towel bars. If you can see it right here. Let's see, here's a place so you can see how I attached it to the wall on either side. And then these just sit. You know, you put them in, they lean against the wall and stay there. And like I said earlier with my other storage options, I just have so many, and if I had them in a drawer all jumbled up, I would never find what I was looking for. But this way I can come and look at the wall and see all of my choices and pick one and use it without digging through a box. So guys, I'll give you one last look around my craft room. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I know it has been rather long. So I'm sorry about that. But I just had so much I wanted to share with you. I couldn't stop. So I just want to say lots of love to everyone, and my fellow crafters especially. I hope you got an idea or two from my video, and we will see you in the next YouTube video from me. And this is Mary saying bye for now.